Hello. Okay, so this is going to be the first in our Humanities Make Us Human series. And the reason I decided to do this today, it wasn't planned, but I go to Google while I'm working and I see that today is Virginia Woolf's birthday. Perfect. So, perfect day to launch this series. Virginia Woolf was born January 25th in 1882. And if you've never read anything by Virginia Woolf, you're really missing out. So I want to make a really short video recommendation. To the Lighthouse. Fabulous, fabulous book. Let me give you a little summary about To the Lighthouse. To the Lighthouse is one of those post-World War I books of the modernists. Okay, so there was this whole modernist movement. I'm not going to give you all the background on that because this video will go for 3 hours. People complain about Joyce. They say, well, Ulysses has no plot, because it takes place in one day and it's just about people's lives and nothing really happens. Well, the whole modernist thing, a lot of those books are that way. They're not story-based. They're philosophical. They have ideas. So the thought behind the book is much more important than the action. Okay, this book, To the Lighthouse, is exactly that. It's about the thought and thinking and ideas behind the book. Now, Virginia Woolf is an early feminist. In my opinion, her writing on feminism is the best you're going to see probably ever. Some people may take issue with that. Maybe in the comments you'll tell me that. But I think the way she expresses feminism is powerful, accurate, beautiful, incredible. It's wonderful. In To the Lighthouse, there's a group, a family, that goes to stay at the shore in a house they rent every year in the summertime. And they bring friends with them. So there's this big group, and they're staying at the shore, and we get these interactions with people. There's a couple of younger people, and she's thinking about whether, when I say she, the central character is Mrs. Ramsay. She's thinking about whether these guys are going to have a relationship. She thinks about this other guy that's a friend of her husband, the professor, and this guy is kind of a tag-along, and she feels a little sorry for him. And there's an older guy, and he's kind of gruff, and she goes to the store and buys tobacco for him, and she feels for this guy, and their kids are there, and she sees how her husband interacts with the kids. It's just really interesting stuff. So the central thing about this To the Lighthouse is offshore out there is a lighthouse in the sea that they can see from this house. And the kids want to go, and they talk about making this trip to the lighthouse. They're going to get a boat, and they're going to row out there and go visit the lighthouse. And the kids all excited, and the youngest kid is very excited. And there's some interaction about whether they will get there because of the weather. Now, I find myself kind of blushing, embarrassed. She nails personalities so well. The mother, Mrs. Ramsay, is encouraging, and she says, oh, the weather will be okay, and we'll get there, and we'll do the trip. And the husband says, no, rain is forecast, and if rain is forecast, we're not going to go because it'll be too rough. And then she says, well, why must you dampen their spirits? We don't know what the weather is going to be tomorrow. And there are so many things that are so typical of people that she brings us a remembrance of these things and brings them to our attention in a really wonderful way. They don't make it to the lighthouse, and then part 2 of the book is years later, and Mrs. Ramsay is dead. The family comes to stay at the house, and things are different. They're not the same as they used to be. But they decide they're going to make the trip to the lighthouse that they've wanted to make all these years, and they get a boat, and they go, and it's rather anticlimactic. not the book, but the trip to the lighthouse isn't that big a deal. The expectation sort of exceeds the reality. There are so many perfectly expressed, beautiful chunks of prose in this book that I just highly recommend that you take it on. You know that there's that old expression about who's afraid of Virginia Woolf from the Richard Burton movie. Well, you have no reason to be afraid of Virginia Woolf. She's not hard to read. She's not difficult to understand. And if you approach the book open and just enjoy it, you'll find that it will greatly reward you. Good luck. I hope you read it. And if you do, give me your comments. And if you have, I'd love to know what you thought of the book. Thanks. See you soon. That'll work. Ollie, play me out.